She turns into a demon every day at 2 a.m., absorbing the essence of the moon. But during the day, she returns to her gentle and lovely appearance. Strangely, he himself is completely unaware of these changes. The demon inside CNG deceives her father into believing that housing prices will rise. They move to a new place and open a bakery with her best friend. The unemployed young man Gilgu, who lives upstairs, falls in love at first sight when he sees CNG. He did not expect that CNG would hide such a terrifying side. One late night at 2 a.m., when Gilgu is taking the elevator, a sudden hand reaches into the elevator, scaring him greatly.
늦었어! 늦었다고! 에이, 늦으면 사야지! 빨리 가야 돼! 넌 뭐야? 넌 누구냐고!
Gilgu is tormented a lot and still feels fearful about what happened last night. He goes to the bakery to investigate and finds that CNG is not as scary as last night, but the band-aid on her forehead proves that she is the same person he saw last night. Gilgu dares not make eye contact with her, afraid that the scene from last night will repeat.
손님 잠시만요.
At night, he looks down from the balcony and unexpectedly finds CNG standing in the center of the residential area with her arms wide open. He pretends to take out the trash to go check, but ends up finding nothing. Suddenly, noise comes from afar. He chases after it and finds a man harassing CNG.
아, 뭐야, 그거 뭐야? 야! 변태 쓰레기 같은... 당신 뭐야? 뭐하는 사람이야? 아빠다. 됐어?
It turns out to be a misunderstanding. Gilgu quickly explains that he is a resident from upstairs, thus resolving the misunderstanding. After this, he discovers that CNG's father accompanies his daughter, who is turned into a demon, for a walk every night. They swing on swings or eat something. Back at the residential area downstairs, as the father and daughter are chatting, the demon on CNG suddenly disappears. The father prepares to carry his daughter home on his back, but accidentally strains his waist, just as CNG is about to fall. Thanks to Gilgu's timely help, Gilgu's frequent appearances make the father suspicious of him. Gilgu quickly explains that because CNG's personality and tone change too much, he is curious and wants to figure out what is going on. Seeing that he didn't seem like a bad person, the father slowly told the truth. CNG does not have a dual personality, but is under a family curse, and is possessed by a demon for 3 hours every night. If the demon's desires are not satisfied, it might do something even more terrible. CNG knows nothing about this. If she learned the truth, she might consider ending her life.
따님 데리고 빨리 전문병원으로 가보시는 게.
The father begged Gilgu to take care of his daughter and warned that the demon is most skilled at playing with people's minds, so he should not believe anything. Gilgu agreed. He is both unemployed and had already fallen in love with CNG at first sight. After learning about this, CNG's best friend added more details about her condition. Although CNG doesn't remember what happens at night, the demon remembers her experiences during the day. The madness of the demon inside CNG was beyond Gilgu's imagination. It's hard to imagine the personality gap between day and night could be so large. Although Gilgu was fully prepared, he still felt fear when facing the demon. Seeing him like this, the demon suddenly used CNG's tone of voice to confess her feelings to him, trying to confuse his mind.
진짜 오빠 좋아해요.
거짓말! 이렇게 쉽게 날 좋아하는 사람이 어딨어? 그런 역사가 없어! 난 안 속아!
Gilgu didn't fall for it, so the demon went to a convenience store to eat and drink heavily, and even deliberately stole others' food for fun. Gilgu couldn't help but ask how long it would exist.
물론 영원이지. 그러니까 나한테 절대 복종해. 그렇지 않으면 얘한테 무슨 일이 일어날지 나도 장담하지 못하니까.
말도 안 돼.
The word impossible completely ignited the demon's negative emotions. He grabbed an insect and was about to stuff it into his mouth. However, as dawn broke, CNG turned back into the weak and lovely girl. Gilgu felt conflicted and wanted to help her but was powerless. In fact, The father and the best friend had already tried countless methods but could never exorcise the demon. It wasn't until the best friend revealed one of the demon's weaknesses that he finally saw hope. The demon never breaks its promises. If you make a bet with it, it will keep its word. Gil-gu, adopting a trial and error attitude, proposed that if he could grab the doll from the claw machine within 3 tries, the demon must tell him how to leave CNG's body. If he lost, the demon's possession time would extend to 6 hours. Seeing the doll fall off the claw twice in a row, the demon was very pleased with itself. But the 3rd time, Gil-gu caught the doll by using a hook-swinging method. According to the promise, the demon truthfully said that as long as his name is called 3 times, he can leave CNG's body. However, when Gil-gu asked his name, the demon said,
내 이름? 내가 말해줄 거 아니야? 멍청한 놈.
앞글자만,
CNG had always cherished a dream to go to a bread academy in France to study, and she had prepared for it for many years. Her father and best friend specifically opened this bakery, on the surface supporting her, but in their hearts they clearly knew the demon inside her body is like a time bomb. If she really goes on a long journey alone, the consequences would be unthinkable. On the night of her mother's Memorial Day, CNG left home early. Gil-gu pretended not to know, silently accompanying her for a walk. When the two arrived at the cinema, CNG suddenly placed her hand on Gil-gu's hand. Gil-gu subconsciously withdrew his hand, making her show a trace of disappointment. But after a moment, Gil-gu gently held back, but did not expect that it was actually the demon's prank.
너도 진심이구나? 다리 치워. 뒤지기 싫으면.
After leaving the cinema, the demon proposed wanting to play on a trampoline, and said that as long as he is made happy, he will shorten the time staying in CNG's body, and even one day completely disappear. Gil-gu heard this and was blood boiling, secretly vowing to definitely satisfy him. But the trampoline park late at night was already closed. The demon again clamored to go see the sea. Anyway, the demon can experience CNG's emotions, so during the day he brought CNG to the seaside, gazing at the vast scenery before her. CNG, however, because her best friend was sick and could not accompany her, showed a slight regret. Gil-gu noticed the tears sliding from the corner of her eye, but CNG laughed and said it was the wind blowing into her eyes. Gil-gu took photos for her, but CNG thought they were too few, and pulling him, took hundreds more photos. During rest, CNG suddenly asked Gil-gu, "Did we watch a movie together?" Only then did Gil-gu realize that last night's date was the demon's idea. Night fell, and the demon was watering a small tree. Gil-gu casually asked him, "Today we went to see the sea. How much time can be reduced this time?" This sentence, however, stunned the demon's heart.
진심을 다해서 날 즐겁게 만들랬지. 날 쫓아냈는데 진심을 다하라고는 하지 않았어. 너 내가 누군지 잊었어?
The demon turned and ran wildly, and when Gil-gu chased after him, he was almost hit by a car, but he did not notice that the man in the car had long locked his target on CNG. The demon ran halfway, and was restrained by a hemp rope that appeared out of thin air. At this moment, Gil-gu reflected on his words, sincerely apologized to the demon, and promised that in the future he would make him happy from the heart. Gil-gu extended his pinky finger to hook it, and a strange emotion surged in the demon's heart. Gil-gu took him to play on the trampoline. At this moment he was as happy as a child. Then he took him to a field full of flowers, and took many photos for him. Gil-gu was very satisfied with one of them, but the demon said it was not as good as his true form. Saying this, he drew a picture of his own appearance and gave it to Gil-gu.
진짜 두 눈이 멀 수도 있겠네.
Taking advantage of the atmosphere, Gil-gu tentatively asked his name, and indeed received 2 words, launch.
당장 그 몸에서 나가라! 신원 좋았다 기명한다! 당장 그 몸에서!
계속해. 3번이라니까?
좋았다.
After Gil-gu's efforts, the time the demon stayed was shortened by half an hour. The father and the best friend were very relieved, feeling that if they persist, the demon will completely dissipate, and danger was also quietly approaching. On this day, Gil-gu and the demon came to a bar. In an unguarded moment, the demon actually disappeared. When Gilgu found him, the demon was being tightly grabbed by a strange man.
나? 남자친구인데?
그쪽은 뭐 하는 건데?
뭐 하는 거예요?
The man said nothing more and left this place. The next day, the man proactively appeared at the bakery, bought a candy, only to tell Gilgu that he is a wizard who can completely eradicate the demon in CNG's body. The restraining rope from the previous night was exactly from his hand. He said that he accidentally discovered CNG and truly could not sit by and do nothing.
뭘 오해하신 것 같은데? 거짓말을 잘 못하시네.
The wizard's appearance made Gilgu faintly uneasy. He instructed CNG that after tutoring ends, she must call him, falsely claiming that the world is dangerous, and he would go to the station to pick her up. CNG felt his concern and gently nodded in agreement, but that night, CNG did not return for a long time, and the phone was unanswered. Gilgu frantically asked the father to check the location, and surprisingly found that she was heading towards the outskirts. It turned out that while waiting for the bus, CNG encountered an injured woman, who asked her to help tie shoelaces, and gave a candy as thanks. Who would have thought that after CNG ate the candy, she fainted on the spot? When she opened her eyes again, the demon had already awakened, but found himself trapped in a strange ritual site. The wizard put on special glasses and surprisingly found that inside CNG was not a demon at all, but a lonely wandering ghost. As the spell sounded, the female ghost let out a heart-wrenching wail. Just as the ritual was about to be completed, it was interrupted by Gilgu. Gilgu was knocked to the ground by the wizard, and the wizard told him the truth.
왜 이렇게까지 하는 거냐고!
안 그럼 못하게 할 거잖아. 나 많이 해봐야 되거든. 더 강해지려면. 근데 너 완전히 홀렸구나. 이 잡귀한테.
난 악마다. 악마 중에서도 상급 악마라고.
너 쟤한테 악마라고 속이고 다녔냐? 하긴 그 잡귀보다 악마가 있어 보이긴 하지. 어린 게 센 척은.
For losing his job, Gilgu had practiced fencing. The wizard was no match for him at all, and in the end was knocked unconscious by him with a headbutt. He pulled out the memory card used in the ritual, broke it into pieces, and then supported CNG to leave. In the glasses, CNG's figure was a woman wearing ragged clothes. At this point, the female ghost finally spoke the truth. She was originally a pitiful woman. Plagues and disasters occurred one after another, making the villagers suffer immensely. Her father and younger brother passed away one after another, and her life fell into despair, until one day, a wizard arrived and said that they must offer a sacrifice and pray, otherwise the entire village would die. But the village had nothing left, and in the end, she was pushed onto the altar and killed alive. She was only 20 years old that year. A family took pity on her, placed her remains in a porcelain jar, and buried it. From then on, her soul was sealed, and her pain gradually faded. As long as she endured for a full 100 years, she would be able to find peace and reincarnate. 50 years later, CNG's great-grandmother unintentionally discovered the porcelain jar and used it as a container for pickling kimchi. The female ghost's peace was thus broken, and she had to attach herself to another person's body. At that time, the great-grandmother was already pregnant, and the female ghost had nowhere else to go, so she entered the fetus's body. Thus, she successively possessed CNG's grandmother, mother, and finally CNG herself. Occasionally, some people recognized her true identity and intended to eliminate her, so she repeatedly tricked CNG's father into moving, not daring to stay in one place for too long. To protect herself, she gradually became like a demon, making everyone avoid her. Over time, she also developed feelings for CNG's family, cherishing every moment spent with them. But the good times did not last long. CNG's mother passed away. Before leaving, the mother begged the female ghost to leave with her, but the female ghost could not do so because she still had 50 years left to fulfill.
아까 그런 말은 뭐야? 너 어차피 사라진다는 거.
이 세상에서의 소멸, 고통의 기억을 안고서 어둠 속을 영원히 떠돌게 되는. 독 밖에서 1000번째 보름달과 마주하게 되는 날, 난 사라지게 될 거야. 지금 저 달이 다시 보름달이 되는 그날에.
뭐 다른 방법은 없어? 뭐 좋은 데로 간다거나 너가 더 편해질 수 있는 그런 거.
누군가의 진심 어린 위로와 함께 다시 그 독에 봉인되고 남은 50년을 보낼 수 있다면? 근데 소용없어. 이젠 그 독도 나를 위한 어떤 진심이 세상에 남아있지 않으니까.
진심을 다해서 날 즐겁게 만들랬지. 날 쫓아내는데 진심을 다하라고 하진 않았어.
내가 사라지고 나면 다 괜찮아질 거야. 아무 일도 없었던 것처럼.
After learning the truth, Gil-gu was unable to let it go for a long time. The female ghost was not evil by nature but was forced to become a wandering spirit. During their time together, although Gil-gu did not develop romantic feelings for her, he could not bear to see her completely become a lonely ghost, so he decided to help her. Gil-gu asked Seonji's father for the address of their old hometown. After a long journey, spending several days and nights, he finally dug out that porcelain jar. On the night of the full moon, the female ghost put on delicate makeup and said goodbye to her best friend. She then went to the convenience store, gave the girl the food she wanted to eat, and also greeted the server. Looking at the back of Seonji's father, she was reminded of the warmth of being carried on his shoulders in childhood. After many years of companionship, she had long regarded Seonji's father as family. Not seeing Gil-gu for a few days, the female ghost wondered where he had gone. As soon as she said this, Gil-gu rushed to her, pulled her, and ran to a place filled with flowers.
이 독에 다시 들어가서 50년 지내면 되는 거지. 맞다고 해주라. 나 이거 진짜 힘들게 찾았어. 진짜 안에 김치가 가득 있더라. 한 100년쯤 된 묵은지가. 내가 씻는다고 씻었는데 아직 냄새는 좀 날 거야. 너 여기 들어가면 내가 아무도 건들지 못하게 안전하게 50년, 아니 그 이상도 지낼 수 있게 책임질게.
왜 이렇게까지 해? 내가 그렇게 불쌍해?
싫어. 네가 이렇게 그냥 사라지는 건 싫으니까. 다 잊고 좋은 데로 갔으면 좋겠으니까. 들킬까봐 고개 돌려 몰래 웃고, 내가 피곤해하면 일부러 자는 척하고, 말라버린 꽃에 물도 주는 너 같은 악마가 어딨냐? 하려면 제대로 하던가. 난 네가 아팠던 거, 힘들었던 거 다 잊고 이제 그냥 편해졌으면 좋겠어. 그동안 많이 외롭고 힘들었지. 고생했어.
The female ghost cried loudly, and the grievances in her heart finally poured out. She loudly told Gil-gu that her name was Wen-yang.
은양이 되게 예쁜 이름이다. 은양아, 준비됐어?
Gil-gu opened the lid and loudly said twice to Wen-yang, "Leave Seonji's body." In that instant, Wen-yang's mind flashed back to all the moments she had shared with Gil-gu. When he said it for the third time, Wen-yang could no longer hold back, rushed forward, and tightly hugged him.
고마워. 정말 고마워.
은양에게 명한다. 그 몸에서 나와 이 독으로 들어가라.
Not long after Wen-yang left, Seonji chose to study abroad, and the bakery subsequently closed down. The best friend then opened a new shop. C&G's father was finally able to relax and went alone to pursue what he wanted to do. Sometime later, C&G returned to her hometown, watching Gilgu from afar, her eyes full of affection. In fact, she had also fallen in love with Gilgu at first sight. On the day they went to the seaside, the best friend also wanted to go, but C&G wanted the two of them to be alone, so she made up the lie that the best friend was sick and couldn't come. She also secretly saved Gilgu's number as Brother Gilgu. On the day she went abroad, she even turned back just to secretly take one last look at Gilgu. Even the one who held Gilgu's hand in the cinema was not the female ghost, but C&G herself.
여보세요?
오빠,
선재야.
잘 지냈어요? 지금 어디예요?
Gilgu brought the porcelain jar containing the female ghost back home and specially arranged it carefully for her. That hand-drawn self-portrait was pasted on the porcelain jar, and the doll caught from the claw machine was also placed beside it to keep her company. And so the film ends. We'll see you in the next movie.